finally, last thing, and this is going to take me a little bit of time. I've got some really exciting things just in terms of our next step here in the Lakeland journey of what God is leading us into. As we've continued to grow slowly and consistently here at Lakeland, we've consistently been pushing into some number issues where sometimes you walk in, you go, man, where am I going to fit my family? And we've done everything to try to maximize this space, added those chairs to the back there, and we have over 400 chairs in here. And what we've run into, though, is what we've been consistently bumping into is we've been nearing or even exceeding the 80% capacity in this service as well as our 1045 service already this year quite a few times. And what that means is when you hit that 80% capacity, it just means when people come in, they start going, man, I feel like there's a little too close for comfort here. So visitors can feel that way, or even regular attenders start going, man, if I come in with a family of 4, are we going to have enough room for all 4 of us to sit together? And because otherwise, it's like front row. That's it. There's your option. So, and that's just part of the reality we've been feeling. And we know that if we were to pull the trigger today in terms of saying, hey, let's expand, let's add on to this auditorium in some way and do building expansion, we know that that's like 2 years, even from today. If I were to say pull the trigger today, 2 years before we'd be into an expanded building, auditorium. And so for us, I start really wrestling through how in the world are we going to be able to continue to create space, create chairs here for visitors to come and for us to all be able to be here so that people can really discover Jesus and experience life in Him. And as we launched into this year, we launched into this initiative called the Multiply Initiative, in which we want to multiply in the big 3, in our worship, in our groups, and in our serving. And multiplying in our worship is about making sure that we have seats and space for those who want to come and check Lakeland out to be able to discover Jesus and experience life in Him. Our groups, in terms of making sure that people have relational connection within small groups. We know that discipleship, relational discipleship, is where it's at. And as you grow bigger, you must grow smaller. That's a phrase that comes out of the staff's mouths, and I'll probably be saying it more and more. As we grow bigger, you have to grow smaller, meaning there has to be these connections of small, intimate connections. Otherwise, you lose the stickiness in this place. You've got to have people that you connect with. And then we've got to have more places for people to serve as well. And an idea, as we launched into this, we're thinking, how in the world are we going to create bandwidth, create space, even over the next couple of years for us to be able to continue to grow? And an idea bounced into my head about a year ago, and that's sometimes dangerous when things start bouncing around my head. But the idea was, what if we could create another venue, another Lakeland venue, that would allow us to continue to reach people for Jesus and make space kind of during this in-between period of time before getting into an expanded facility. And so that's what we're actually going to do. We've been praying about it and talking about it and working toward that. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to launch a Lakeland venue actually right down the road at the historic Belfry Theater. And it's really going to be cool because what it will allow us to do is it will allow us to do live worship, the exact same worship set that will be done here with our same worship team members right down there. And then we'll be able to utilize technology to be able to show the message via video from this site to that site. And it will allow for us to grow more leaders, more people to be able to step into places of leadership, as well as create more on-ramps for people to be able to serve here. From an attractional side of things, I think that there are some people who might be scared to walk into the Lakeland Church building, but they might say, hey, I'll go and check out the historic Belfry Theater and see what church is like in that setting. And from the practical side of things, what it's going to do for us is it will actually give us 250 more chairs at this service, at the 9:15 service. We're going to launch just a single service at this hour at 9:15. And when you think about dollar for value, you cannot produce that type of seating capacity for such a cheap amount of investment as what we're going to be able to do. So we're going to be leasing some space. We made a 1-year commitment out there to do that over there and to just see what God does with this. And I know some immediately you might say, well, how's this even going to work? Like, who's gonna lead it over there? What will create some continuity over there? And so we started processing and praying and saying, God, we do believe that we need a consistent face to bring some leadership there. And so what we've actually done is we've offered and created a role that will just be the Belfry venue resident. And Josh Johnson, actually, here on our worship team, has accepted that role. It's going to be great. And Josh, obviously, as one of our worship leaders, as well as one of our overseers, will just be able to give some great direction, just that continuity on a weekly basis, as well as connection with people who are walking in there and the teams that are serving over there on a weekly basis of what's taking place. You might be thinking, all right, even for us, as I've got family, I've got kids, is it possible for us to make it on over there? Well, Josh is going to be doing it with kids. And if you have children, I know it won't work for everyone, but if you have kids that are really well established in the children's ministry and in their small groups, and they're really at home here, once again, you're about a half mile away. That to be able to drop them off here, attend that venue, and come back and pick them up might work for some of you families. It may not work for all of you, but it might work for some. In terms of a time frame, we are going after this thing like mad. And so we are going to, our goal is here in the spring. We don't have a lockdown date because a lot of that is due to technology and when can we get everything dialed in tech-wise. But coming this spring is what we're aiming for. So what's the big ask? What am I asking for? Well, I'm asking specifically out of this service and out of the next service. We're asking for 75 people who would be willing to go. I love it. So here's what we're doing. All right, you're on. You're in. Josh, you got your first ones. We're going to be asking for you to prayerfully consider, would the Lord be calling you to be a part of a core team of people who will say, 75 people, about 40 from this service, about 40 from the next service, who will say, we'll sacrifice our seats here so that we can actually invest in there, become owners there, make that thing rock solid and absolutely awesome. I think it's going to be just amazing. Quite frankly, there's going to be days that I'm going to say, man, I just want to be there, you know? And I think you will long for that as well. But we're looking for 75 people who will say, yep, we're going to go and we're going to help be a part of the core team to launch that and make that thing really sweet. The other thing that it will do in terms of serving opportunities, you know, there's some of you who are drummers and guitar players and keyboardists and bassists who perhaps this stage is maybe a little intimidating to you, but over there you might say, man, one service, a more acoustic set, smaller venue, yeah, I'll try it out, you know, or I'll audition for that. For others of you, we're going to need an awesome parking team and host team down there, and what will happen is as 75 people from here go on over there and make a 1-year commitment over there, there's going to be holes here that need to be filled, and some of you guys are on the fence, or you've been here for a while, and you're going, should we step in and start serving? I'm telling you, this is the time. We want to multiply in our worship, our groups, and our serving. If you thought I was joking about that, or like it was just a nice idea, we're not. Like, we're serious, and we're going to go and we're going to do this stuff. And so want to create space for that and ability to make that happen. Obviously, more details are going to be coming in the weeks ahead, but I asked Josh, just share some final thoughts here. You've been on this journey, really, it's been much longer than just the last month or two of what God's been doing in you. And so what's on your heart?
Well, it's been actually a couple of year journey for my wife and I, where we felt something that God would be calling us into something else and something new. And we weren't really sure what that was, but we kept pursuing Him in that. And so when this opportunity came up, we got really excited about it, but we prayed a lot. It took probably a really long time, longer than you wanted probably, to answer.
Yes.
But the reality is, as we started processing it, we realized the thing that was really the biggest hurdle for us, or hang-up, was that we would have to give up our normal Sunday morning routine. Those are our seats with our names on it right there. And so...
Not really.
So we have to give that up in the community that we have with these people. Our normal routine, me being on this exact team here, on this platform. And so those are the hard things for us to give up. But we realized was... if we're really called to be disciples who create disciples, and we're really called to reach people, we have to do whatever it takes to do that. And so as a church, that means we have to make room for people. And so Susan and I really believe in this body of believers. Like, it's just so awesome, such a great community, and people are authentic here and real. And so that's going to draw more people in. I know if we give our seats up, God's going to fill them with somebody else.
Amen.
And so we really just want to grab some people and go over there, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a cool, smaller venue, and fun environment, and totally Lakeland. And he keeps saying acoustic set, but we're going to have some rock too. So
That's right. I'm sure they will. If you'll be over there, it'll be awesome.
so it's going to be really cool.
Awesome.